working on also within Studio Zeitgeist is actually, it's three things, but one has to do with the other. The first thing we have been researching a couple of years ago was radical decentralization. So how more and more we can do things ourselves when it comes to producing energy. We're not dependent on coal plants anymore, we can do it ourselves. Crowdfunding as an alternative to the current financial institutions and their services. So in many ways we see the empowerment of the individual. So next to this radical decentralization, we also started researching radical transparency, which is the impact of technology it has on the flow of information, the data we have access nowadays, like big data. And the funny thing is that if you combine this radical decentralization and radical transparency, our thesis is that this is putting so much energy, so much warmth into our current systems that we go from very structured and solid systems like the last 100 years with the Industrial Revolution. And because of the pressure and the warmth, we go to liquid societies. We go to a very fundamental change of how we work, how we function, how our system is going to work, like the criteria. And that's, well, the themes we are mostly now researching and writing and presenting about. The great thing about this metaphor of liquid is that we go from a very structured society, and in physics things can be very structured. You can be in a solid state as a molecule, but if there comes warmth in the molecule, like ice, the ice is melting. So the molecule goes from a very solid state ice, it goes to water, which is liquid. And I think this metaphor is also very valid for our societies. We go from very rigid, very structured societies, and we are well off. So for now, this wasn't a problem. But because of the technology and because of the differences, we see that our societies are melting. They're like melting icebergs. They become liquid. But with this liquidity, we have a completely new way of working. I mean, we see the management changing, we see how our products and services are changing, that we want to own things, and now we go to sharing things. We go to the empowerment of the individual in these liquid societies. So it has a whole new set of range of instruments, and we have to understand these differences to make sure that we are able and willing as a society and as an organization to work with this new structure. I really think that one of the differences from this solid structured type of society and this more liquid way of approach is that, for instance, like hierarchies, competition between each other, which were criteria were in essence parts of our structured solid state. In this liquid state, because of all the networks we can make and all the connections we can make, it doesn't make sense to be in competition. It makes sense to make the connection to make a better product or to make a better service with each other. And maybe for now, maybe not for the coming 10 years, but for the coming 2 years. And in 2 years you will do it with a different connection, with a different organization, different individual. So it's not about the competition anymore, but making the connections temporarily maybe to ensure that you have a future product or service or organization. We see that the middle in our societies, being the nation state in the middle of Europe and the local, the middle class in the middle of the economical chain, and we see because of technology and automation that their position is not normal anymore, or is not a given like it used to be in the coming 100 years. So we see lots of stress and also many challenges we have to think about when it comes to their position. On the other hand, in the coming 5 years, we see a much more empowered individual again. I mean, the possibilities of doing all these things ourselves, taking care of our own lives, with producing the energy, with the independence of your work, which is also, of course, great opportunities people are getting. I travel a lot, you read a lot about international things and international media. But still, it's exciting to be proven wrong of one of the prejudices you had. I think most people are really fascinated by visiting North Korea a couple of years ago, which is of course like you are volunteering for becoming part of a prison, which it is. I think Yemen is mostly really surprises people. And Iran also, because of the bad image it has internationally, but if you're there, like, it's beautiful old culture. So I think these are one of the places that people would say, interesting.